Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father. We are live. It is Monday night live. I was usually going to do this on Sundays, but yesterday with three masses, and then I ended up going to see the movie Free Guy, which I've been wanting to see for a few weeks. I got to put my other laptop on hold. I needed rest. So part of the nice thing is Mondays are my day off, so I can kind of relax. It's been a while since I've had a solo live stream. I think part of the problem I haven't had many videos lately is because my laptop, you see in the background, got its screen fixed recently. And one of the things that happened as a result of that was it's lost its ability to connect to the TV monitor that's right over here. So it makes it a little bit harder to edit videos and do stuff compared to the little small screen. So, but before we begin tonight, just ask you to keep the people in the South in prayer. I talked to Man of War, who sometimes comes on to follow the stream. I got to meet him in Vegas. He lives in New Orleans, so keep him in prayer. The hurricane hit him hard. Keep Clobbering Times in prayer too. I think he lives in Baton Rouge area, Louisiana at least. I know that I reached out to one of my priest friends from, he lives in New Jersey, but he's a Byzantine Rite priest, and he's originally from NOLA down south, and I know his mom still lives there. And just watching the news and everything, it looked like it was a really bad storm. So just to keep everybody in prayer. Mentioned I myself grew up in Iowa, originally from eastern Iowa, near Iowa City and everything. My sister lives in Cedar Rapids. Last summer, they got hit with the derecho, which was basically the winds of a Cat 2 hurricane. Now, that's not something that's supposed to hit Iowa. Again, you had about 80 to 100 mile an hour winds going through eastern Iowa, actually through the whole state of Iowa. I know that my sister lost power for about a few weeks, I think it was. They actually had to move out of the house because they lost part of their roof also. So just to think of what they went through in Iowa, I hate to think what they're going through in a much worse situation in Louisiana and in the South. So just to keep everybody in prayer. Also this week, just to continue to keep praying for peace in Afghanistan. I've been watching the news, and Gary with Nerdrotic went live earlier today, and I just was watching part of his stream. And when I turned that off and turned on the news, it turned out that we had already did the last flight out of Afghanistan. So I think we're leaving a few hundred Americans behind, which is not good. And not to mention all the Afghanis who helped us over the years. Really, to pray for them, pray for the martyrs that are going to be made over the next, who knows how long. Again, it's not a good situation over there. So let's see who is in the chat. We have Snortopoopus, who always is early. Good to see you, Snortopoopus. Hello, humans and other critters. We got Miss Martin. I saw that you got my tweet about the number left behind. So, yeah, again, just to really pray. I was debating about going out in the morning tomorrow, but now that I guess we've left, I don't think we have to worry about suicide bombers and stuff. So that in itself is good. But as Snortopoopus just mentioned, maybe thousands. So I'm 48. No, I'm 47. Ugh, losing track. But I don't remember the Iranian hostage crisis. I was only would have been, so that would have been 79 to 80. I would have been 5 and 6. As I told my people recently, my earliest memories being ticked off at Carter for boycotting the 80 Olympics. I mean, I remember as a kid enjoying the Olympics. I have to say that these last Olympics, I didn't watch any of it at all. Couldn't care less. So, Crescenda, like I said, one of these days I'll learn how to say your name. So, and the R is here. Good to see you. Prayers sent. So, Yeah, so Ms. Martin says the numbers don't add up. It has to be more in the thousands. It's not a good situation. So, but anyway, I figured I wanted to do a little live stream tonight because it's been a while. I'm wearing the headphones because, okay, that's weird. I'm hearing, oops, hold on. I accidentally clicked play on a video I'll be showing you in a little bit. We got Chris P. Good to see you. I met Chris P. in Vegas. Good to see you. I will have to give you a shout if I make it up to your neck of the woods again. So article I found this afternoon, because really I don't know if there's really much Catholic news going on. 2 weeks ago was the Assumption of Our Lady, and as you know, for Catholics watching, when a solemnity like that falls on a Sunday, that trumps the Sunday readings and everything. So that was the weekend I was coming back from Vegas, and I celebrated Mass on my own. But this was an article that I found from the National Catholic Register this evening. Supposedly there's rumors. I have no clue. Now, I remember hearing about it almost a year ago in December, that there was rumors Pope Francis was going to resign. I have no clue. And honestly, if anybody says that they know that the Pope is going to resign, they're probably lying, because just as we know the Pope's health is perfect until he takes his last heartbeat, we won't know that he's going to resign until he does. So this is, again, from the Catholic Register, which is owned by EWTN. I've been following the National Catholic Register for, probably 25 years. Good newspaper. But I'll be honest, I don't really read newspapers anymore. Used to be I subscribed to the Catholic Register. I just recently subscribed to Epoch Times, but I'll be honest, I've had the 3 issues of it now, and I've only gone through 1. So anyway, according to one source, no one expects the Pope to die or resign anytime soon, but everyone is preparing not to be taken by surprise when it happens. So yeah, that's going to be the big thing. It's going to be one of those things, I think, because of the time difference, we'll probably wake up here in America and find out maybe that the Holy Father passed during the night. Again, not saying anything on that at all. So this is written by Andrea, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, from the Catholic News Agency. Despite ongoing rumors, there's no confirmation that Pope Francis is drafting the document that defines the role and task of the Pope Emeritus. Interesting. I didn't even know that was a rumor. Really, the last major Catholic news that I heard about was Pope Francis and the unnecessary error. And I hate saying that. I really, really hate doing any criticisms of the Holy Father. I really do not do that. I'm still at a loss over his attack on the Latin Mass. I mean, you have Germany pretty much in schism because the Pope answered a dubia, basically a question about whether the church has the ability to bless same-sex marriages. The Pope himself said no, the church does not have the ability. Pope Francis said no. Yet you have a lot of priests and bishops in Germany that went ahead and did it anyway. And yet the Latin Mass is supposed to be the big problem. I don't know. Okay, so some sources in the Vatican continue to believe these scenarios are possible since they seem intertwined. The rumors of Pope Francis' resignation are born of the rumors of a possible document on the status of the Pope Emeritus, which again I had never heard. The document on the role and functions of the Pope Emeritus is under study. It is a closely held secret. Yeah. Reliable Vatican source says that such an undertaking cannot be ruled out because the possibility of the possibility that the Pope is drafting the document personally and will submit it to the offices responsible for publication once the draft is completed. The weird thing is he's now been Pope longer than Pope Benedict, because Pope Benedict was elected in 2005 and resigned, well, he's almost up to Pope Benedict. I can't keep track. I've never been good at math. So I'm just looking at the background so that way I can see if there's any chat messages. The pressures to better define the status of the Pope Emeritus began some time ago. Yeah. I mean, Pope Benedict was the first Pope to resign in over 600 years. And for the most part, we really haven't heard too much of a peep from him. Although there was the little incident, I think it was 2-3 years ago, when Pope Francis was issuing a book and Pope Benedict and Cardinal Sarah were going to team up to talk about the importance of celibacy in the priesthood, which I totally agree with. Now, I have 3 small parishes. The biggest parish is 40, the smallest is 25. So I have a lot of free time, which is why I'm able to do the podcasting and all this stuff. But I know when I was stationed in bigger parishes, I was also teaching 3 classes of high school every day. I was pretty busy, especially on Wednesdays when I know my first assignment, I basically on Wednesdays would have the Mass, whether it was the 6:30 or the kids' Mass, because there was a grade school attached to it. After the grade school Mass, I would then visit the classrooms. I might get an hour off before I'd have to head to the high school to teach the 3 periods, and they weren't all right in a row. So yeah, by the time I got back to the parish, it was about 3:30. Get a little bit of downtime, dinner, and then we would have the Catholic youth, the high school youth group that night. So Wednesdays were pretty much nonstop. So I mean, every day wasn't like that, but you know, this in the bigger parishes, there's not a lot more free time. During the summer, there is because you're not teaching. But it really, you can't have 2 masters. Who comes first, the welfare of the family or the welfare of the parish? So the nice thing about the priesthood, again, is the sacramental image that's occurring is the priest in persona Christi, in the person of Christ, wedded to the church. So me as Christ, the bridegroom, wedded to the church, the bride. So I'm able to give my full. So if the phone rings, I have to stop this stream. If it's a telemarketer, I won't. So, oh, just another red shirt is here. Good to see you. Yeah, and Miss Martin says you don't have time for a wife, and I would not want to be married to a priest. And one of the other things too that isn't really talked about is you look at the married clergy and the Protestants. There's a lot of divorce. Now, thankfully, I know a few priests who are converts that were married as a pastor and were able to be ordained a priest. Usually, they are given small parishes. So the one that I personally know is in his 60s, so all his kids are grown up. So of course, there's nobody to support except for his wife. He is given a small parish of maybe a few dozen people. So anyway. So let's see. The need to better regulate the figure. I'm going to take these off until I need them. The need to better regulate the figure of a Pope Emeritus has come from circles that believe themselves to be supporters of Pope Francis and were concerned that Benedict's, see, that's the thing here too, Benedict's declaration could create confusion surrounding Francis's authority. Benedict XVI decided not to legislate on what his role would be after his resignation. For the most part, again, he's been quiet. He's decided to continue wearing the white cassock and taking Pope Emeritus as a title. This differed from the traditional idea that a pope would return to being a cardinal, which, again, it hasn't happened in our lifetime. It hasn't happened in hundreds of years. Pius XII, okay, so I did know this. Pius XII, who left a letter of resignation at the Nazis, implemented a plan to kidnap him, and there was. I might have to do a live stream on that. I have a few books about the mustache man's plan to kidnap the Pope. And again, Pius XII gets a bad rap because they don't think he did enough to save the Jews during the war, which he did. We'll talk about that another time. So When they arrive, they will take Cardinal Pacelli, that was Pius XII's name before he was elected Pope, and not Pius XII, he is supposed to have said. I wonder if they kept that letter. It might be in the secret archives. So, Miss Martin says, I miss Benedict XVI. I do too. Keely Chow's here in the chat. Good to see you. The thing that I liked about Benedict XVI is he's a very intellectual guy, but he's easy to read. John Paul II is very hard to read. I think the only document I got through of John Paul II without any trouble was his letter, and I don't think it was an encyclical, but when he instituted the Luminous Mysteries of the Rosary. I remember reading that document. I actually understood that document. But some of his other stuff, like the Theology on the Body, Faith and Reason, Ratio et Fides, some of that's hard. It's deep. So, let's see. Benedict also made sure not to influence the conclave that would have chosen his successor. A cardinal, albeit a former pope, could participate in the pre-conclave meetings. Therefore, in direct successor's choice, Benedict XVI never did that, and rightly so. I was asked recently during a confirmation prep class, we were talking about popes and popes that have resigned, and one of the teachers was asking me what I thought of the movie The Two Popes. That was the movie that came out, probably 2 years ago with Anthony Quinn, I think, as Pope Benedict XVI, and I can't remember who played Pope Francis. I basically said I hated it. I watched about half of it and I turned it off. Pope Benedict did not want to be Pope. He wanted to retire to Germany. He wanted to be retired near his brother, who died about a year ago and also was a priest. They wanted to be able to retire together and enjoy each other's company, but God had other plans. So what Pope Francis will do will remain a mystery. Until now, Pope Francis has never wanted to define the figure of Pope Emeritus. He has maintained a relationship with Benedict and has always consented when the Pope Emeritus asked for the possibility of expressing himself. Never knew he did that. Anyway. So why is this happening now? There seems to be various reasons. The first concerns to help Pope Francis. After his surgery on July 4th, the Pope appeared vigorous and quite active in the general audiences and the August Angelus. Additionally, he's preparing a fairly taxing journey to Budapest. I think I knew that. Even so, rumors of the Pope having a degenerative and chronic disease have accelerated discussion about the nature of the next conclave. And to be cynical, that's part of the thing I've heard, maybe why he's cracking down on the Latin Mass. Again, anyway, I don't like feeling that way. So the push for the reform of the conclave began from Pope Francis authors. I'm not even going to try to pronounce Alberto Melononi and Massinio. Now, I'm definitely not going to try to pronounce that name. I'd probably get a YouTube stripe if I mispronounced it. Argued in favor of a conclave with prolonged isolation of the cardinals. Right from the pre-conclave meetings, which happened semi-publicly for a week before the secret proceedings at the Sistine Chapel. Both argued for a period of time between the pronouncement of the elected and his acceptance so that the Pope can be scrutinized. Oh, that kind of makes sense. So that the elected Pope could be scrutinized for skeletons in the closet that could damage his pontificate. Okay, I guess I understand that, but be interesting 30 years from now when the next Pope is elected, whoever that is. Will they go through his Facebook and Twitter accounts to find out maybe something scandalous he wrote before he became a priest? I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so what do people think the Pope could have done about the Yahtzees aside from working quietly behind the scenes? Stupid gnat. Yeah, there's a lot of books on this. One of the best movies I recommend is Pius XII, I think, Under the Roman Sky. It came out a few years ago with James Cromwell playing Pope Pius XII, and it really goes into detail about, let me see. Let's see how much longer. There's not much left in this. Let's see if we can find this. Pope Francis, no, Pope Pius under, because I think, and I'm pretty sure that this is available under Amazon. And it is not. Let's bring that up. So it looks like it's not. Just saw your comment. Just another red shirt. I'm not even gonna try it. Must mean beans in Italian. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Okay, so this is Pius XII Under the Roman Sky. Again, it has James Cromwell playing Pius XII, and he's really, really good. The other movie I really recommend is the Scarlet and the Black with the great Gregory the Peck, and also, oh darn, I should know this. I've seen the movie so many times. He just died recently. Christopher Plummer. And it looks like if you belong to Shout TV, you can watch it. So, the R rights. What do I think of the Church Militant? If you're talking about the website, the Church Militant, I really don't give them much of the time of day. Mostly because I think he's trying to stir up a lot of trouble. Like I said, I'll be honest, I haven't watched them. Let's just say I haven't intentionally watched a video of theirs in a few years. And really, if I want news, I'm not going to go to them. I usually use a variety of sites. I figure the main thing is to find the balance between I hate the political terms, the conservative versus liberal. So I will never consult the National Catholic Reporter. They are pretty much borderline schismatic, openly rebelling against the church. If I do a Google search and there's an article that comes up that might be interesting, sure, I will do that. But, usually try to balance between America Magazine, which is the Jesuits, which is kind of liberal, especially since they are the order of Thomas Rees and James Martin. But again, the balance between EWTN, America, our Sunday Visitors usually pretty good. So anyway, so that's that. Let's see what else we had going on. The infamous Lytton. I will say Christopher Plummer played Herbert Kappler, the head of the SS in Rome. One of the things also interesting about that is up the road from St. Mary Major, which is the oldest basilica in Christendom, is a Yahtzee prison that has now become a museum to the liberation. So when I went to Rome a few years ago, I went on my own. I had saved up enough SkyMiles. I think I paid $100 for my ticket because that was for the taxes and everything, and SkyMiles took care of the rest. I paid also a little bit extra every month to have my cell phone over there so I could use the GPS and the web things and everything. I had no trouble getting around. The only trouble I had was when I had a run-in with the bus police. I thought I had my pass. I thought my pass was still good for another day. They disagreed, and I got $120 or 120 euro fine, which I have yet to pay. Partially because at the time I was going to appeal it when I got home because I thought I was in the right, and turns out I wasn't. But I still had bought the pass. And anyway, Eric K is in the chat. Good to see you. And as the R says, Gary's stream must be done. So yeah, I was just mentioning Eric about clobbering, which Snorted Poop has also mentioned that clobbering's doing fine. And I also mentioned Man of War. I texted him. I said he's in my prayers. Just again, for everybody to keep those in Louisiana in prayer. Uh, Still early. We don't know how much damage there is, but it doesn't look like it might be. I mean, water. It does. The streets aren't as flooded as that was with Katrina. So anyway, there was the other article that I wanted to show before I kind of went into the movies and everything, because there's a lot of stuff that came out since, namely the Spider-Man trailer. And I will say that I did watch the Sam Raimi's two Spider-Mans, and I know that there's three, but I'm only accepting two. Spider-Man 3 was not good. I didn't care for it. Um, I bought Spider-Man 1 and 2 when it first came out on DVD. I never bought the Blu-ray. But anyway, this is, again, one of the articles, if you want to say from the left or the liberal viewpoint, America, the Jesuit Review. And remember, Pope Francis is a Jesuit. There are good Jesuits. I'm not going to go any further than that. But I guess he gave an interview recently which said that his life was saved for a second time by a nurse. Again, Pope Francis had a big part of his colon taken out earlier this summer. And I guess I didn't realize that. I mean, he stayed in longer than he was supposed to. And from the outward appearances, he's looking fine. But again, there's a lot happening internally. And again, the Pope is never in bad health until he dies. Okay, so it was the second time in my life that a nurse saved my life, Francis added. He recalled the story of the Argentinian nurse who saved his life for the first time in 1957. Let's see. In which he explained that this nurse, drawing on her long experience, decided to double the dose of medicine that the doctors had prescribed after they removed the top lobe of his right lung. So remember, the Pope only really has one full lung that works. Okay, so it looks like the interview has not come out yet. He will reveal the details of how the male nurse in the Vatican saved his life in the interview, which was obtained for the Spanish radio network by its Vatican correspondent. The interview was conducted by COPE, which I don't know what that stands for. Last week at Casa Santa Maria, the Vatican guest house. Kind of wanted to visit that when I got to go to Rome, but never happened. So it looks like the Pope is going to Budapest in Slovakia next month from the 12th to the 15th. Again, I knew that was kind of coming up. And yes, Miss Martin, Father Mitch Pacwa is a Jesuit, one of the good Jesuits. So is Father Fessio, who runs Ignatius Press. I've met Father Fessio before. Love him. There was a priest up at Creighton in Omaha that I knew. It's actually from my hometown back in Iowa, and I got to meet him. He just passed a few months ago. I didn't really know him as well, but it was one of those. He was a friend of my dad's, so I reached out to him, and he was actually at my first Mass when I was ordained. It's hard to believe I'm coming up to year 14. Hard to believe. 14 years of priest is coming May. The summer's really flown because, again, I had to make my annual priest retreat, which I did in May. And then I went home to Iowa for the first time in almost 2 years to see family. And then in July, I went out to Philly to see friends, my annual vacation. And then I was in Vegas for a few days in August, almost 2 weeks ago. That's hard to believe it's been that long. But I'm wearing my Geeks and Gamers shirt that I got there. You can probably see in the background I have my little poster framed. Yeah, I mean, it was a blast. And if Eric is still watching, please don't let it be in Vegas. I haven't told my dad what I paid for a hamburger. My dad would kill me if I told him what I paid for a hamburger at Gordon Ramsay's Burger Shack. Eesh. I will say I paid maybe $12 more on Friday while the show Friday Night Tights was streaming. I went to the French restaurant right across from the Bellagio fountains. I had a really good steak and dessert. Um, like I said, this last summer I've been kind of carving it up because I've been off of keto. And oh, good, Eric's still here, so good to see you. Like I said, I hope that the meetups will happen again because I really want to come back to it. I really enjoyed it. Getting to meet Man of War, Nick Weiser, Brightest Day, TDS and his wife, so many people, so many people. Chris P, got to meet him, got to meet Max. A lot of people. Some of it was hard to remember. So anyway, okay, so going back to the article, commenting on the rumors and some speculation in Italian that he might resign. Okay, so this is the second article about resignation. I didn't even know this was happening. I mean, I know that the Pope's not in the best of health, but like I said, the Pope, yeah, the Pope is never in bad health until he's dead. And as it says here, when the Pope is ill, there's a breeze or hurricane about a conclave. What's going to be interesting is when the next Pope is elected, I think Pope Francis has picked maybe 2/3 of the cardinals that will pick the next Pope, which for me kind of scares me. But anyway, so Pope Francis speaks about euthanasia in Spain, Afghanistan. Euthanasia in Afghanistan? Sends a message to the United States and Europe about what happened in Afghanistan. Okay, that could be interesting. Pope Francis spoke about Afghanistan when addressing pilgrims yesterday during the Sunday Angelus. He appealed to all believers to help Afghans in need and called on Christians to fast, pray, and do penance. Yeah. I read that the Taliban killed a folk singer because he was playing music. Anyway. So that is that. Let's see what we have going on in the background. So let's see. I like that Gordon Ramsay doesn't consider a burger to be beneath him. I was going to have one there had I made it to Vegas. You know, the sad thing, and I'm out of focus for some reason. I don't know why. I would have paid the $20 more and gorged myself at a buffet. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're back in focus. So let's see. Nick Weiser mentioned what he paid for hamburger in Vegas. Yeah. I mean, the burger was good. It's not the best that I've ever had. I will say the steak was really good. And the beauty of eating at that French restaurant at the Paris, which was next to, so I stayed at Bally's. I was right next to the Paris, which is across the street from the Bellagio, which has the fountain show. And I got to eat my dinner while watching the water dancing and everything. And it was wonderful. I really love it. I will say it was a good burger. I will not say it was a darn good burger. I'm not upset about paying what I paid for the burger. I will say that I'm upset that I paid almost $12 for fries. That was not good. So, not a fan of buffets. You know, the thing is, one of the things I was looking at, so I did a lot of planning before I went to Vegas. I hit a few comic stores. I pretty much spent most of my budget at one store on the first day in Vegas. I was going to they had a buffet pass between the casinos run by Caesars, where I think it was like 55 or 65 for 24-hour access to the 5 buffets. Now, 65 seems a lot, but you figure if I ate at Ramsay's Burger Shack, I could probably do it. Let's just say I could get a lot more food than what I paid for at Ramsay's. So, paid $26 for a Kobe beef burger. Ooh, 10 years ago. Ouch. So, let's see. Got the vacation. Let's see, Evan. I'm not sure. The 26. was it the $26 Camp or burger, or because I was just talking about that. Let's see. When I ate at Gordon Ramsay Burger, I got the employee discount from someone I knew. Hey, that works. My regret is I really wanted to do his fish and chip store, which is right by the Flamingo. I really regret not doing that. Yeah. You're paying a lot for the name. You're really paying a lot for the name recognition. And again, I am a fan of Ramsay's. I do love Hell's Kitchen. I probably shouldn't admit it, but the thing that's neat is on YouTube, you can see the uncensored version, which is definitely not family friendly. So anyway, so like I said, a lot of other things are going on in the entertainment world. Eric knows, as those that have been following me for a while know, that I kind of went a little nuts in Vegas on comics. I came away with 20 comics from Atomic Comics, which is in East Vegas. I picked up the Lois Lane number 81, where Superman is snapping Lois's air hose in space because supposedly he won't marry her. But I think it was 2 weeks ago. So the week after I got back from Vegas, I went up to the bigger town. For us, the bigger town is 25,000. That's about 90 minutes away. Also part of the reason I don't have the TVs, just show you my little setup. So that is my TV that's supposed to be hooked up to my laptop. Part of the reason I don't have that hooked up, like I said, is that the HDMI is not being recognized. And I have to take it to Best Buy because I got the Geek Squad protection, but the nearest Best Buy is at least 2.5 hours away. So I was going to do it when I got back from Philly, but the problem was Philly's plane was delayed and Best Buy closed before I could get the appointment scheduled. I was going to do it when I got into Denver, coming back from Vegas. LAX was an hour late leaving, which meant there's no way I'm going to make it to Best Buy in time. And if you don't book it a few days in advance, there's no way you're going to get in to see the Geek Squad. So until then, I can't do stuff on my laptop as much as I want. But yeah, so I was going to mention Spider-Man came out. The trailer looks interesting. I'm not a big fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I'm especially not happy with how, and again, no insult meant towards Melissa Torme, but I mean, if you read the comics, you know Aunt May is not young. And, you know, Tony Stark should not be hitting on Aunt May. That just is a little weird. I'm also not a fan of MJ. I can't pronounce her name. I have to look it up. This weekend I did rewatched for the first time in probably 5 years the first two Spider-Mans from Sam Raimi with Tobey Maguire, and I loved it. I really loved it. You know, as I tell people, you've had almost 20 years to see it. So if you haven't seen it by now, well, I don't care if I'm spoiling it. But when Kristen Dunst's MJ discovers Peter Parker's Spider-Man, I still get goosebumps over that, with Doc Ock and everything. And I still feel that way 20 years after seeing it. I mean, people will debate whether Kristen Dunst was a good MJ. I liked her. I mean, anyway, so, but as for the movie, I don't know what to expect. We're not going to really go into it. We'll probably do that another time. But the one I just kind of wanted to conclude with, and I figure, like I said, I didn't know how long I'm going to go tonight just because it's been a while and I haven't had dinner yet. I'm going to put these on because I'm not playing the audio, because if it did that, YouTube would freak out. So this is the trailer for Free Guy, which I saw yesterday with Ryan Reynolds. He basically plays a bank teller in a video game, and I'm not going to really spoil a lot of it, but I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 out of 4, almost 3.5 out of 4. It's just there's one day where he kind of becomes self-aware and realizes that he's in a video game, and that's really not a spoiler because, I mean, it's in the ad. So the same thing happens day after day. He meets a girl, everything changes. Those two were interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so he becomes a little self-aware. So Ryan Reynolds is an NPC, a non-player character. Um, Kind of becomes very popular, and again, it's kind of hard to go into it. So he becomes self-aware, and the thing is, there's a lot going on. I was reminded a whole lot of Ready Player One when I saw this. There are member berries, there's game references, but it's a mixture of Ready Player One meets Truman Show, where Truman Show was a good movie. I saw it in the theater. Guy doesn't realize his whole life is a TV show based around him, and then as the movie goes on, he becomes aware of that. So, ooh, I got to go back to this. I just saw Evan's comment. After much personal discernment, I'll be going to the Abbey this weekend to see if religious life is for me. Very good. Awesome. I'll keep you in prayer. The one thing I know when I was discerning is I was attracted to religious life, but I also like being in the world. So, I mean, it depends on the order. The different orders do different things. Uh, Again, being from Iowa, we have the Trappist Monastery up by Dubuque. They've kind of become well known over the last 10, 15 years because they do the wooden caskets. That's part of their apostolate. So awesome. I will say that if I did enter religious life, I was looking at Benedictines because I like their idea of work and prayer. So let's see. Yes. Keep snarfing beef off the hoof. I have some pork ribs I'm going to be eating as soon as this is done. So I'm going to try to wrap it up soon just because I'm hungry. Now, Tikiki, can't pronounce his name. He's in it. I didn't care for his character. I mean, it's a little over the top. He was good in Jojo Rabbit. He played the Mustache Man in Jojo Rabbit. And I did enjoy his Thor movie, although I know some people don't like that. But it was a little over the top in this one. Kitty is here. So she's making an appearance. I'm surprised she hasn't showed up till now. Yeah, we do need more priests. We need more good priests. So let's see. OSB Abbey has the Benedictine Abbey near the college. They have a steam powered granary mill. Oh, nice. Yeah, so the Benedictines are a good order. I like them. I would just say hopefully it's not Collegeville up in Minnesota because they're kind of anyway. So let's kind of finish up the thing. You got Cat Shark and you got Cat Butt. That's right. You're mooning the camera. Okay, so let's finish this up. So it's a typical Ryan Reynolds film. I had never seen Green Lantern. I don't really want to see Green Lantern. Anyway, that's Free Guy. I enjoyed it. It is PG-13. There are some profanities in it. A little bit of innuendos in there too. Thankfully, the sound was off because one of the innuendos is in the trailer. But again, it's a typical Ryan Reynolds film. He's very, very sarcastic throughout the whole film, which I like. I love sarcasm. Those that know me know. And if you follow me on Twitter, FR Miller, you know how sarcastic I can be. So, Oh, awesome. 11 men in my family has been monks at this abbey. So on Ancestry, I've been researching my family tree, and I've been doing that for almost 25 years now. But with Ancestry, I've been able to make leaps and bounds. Because the thing that's neat with Ancestry is you have access to all the census records and everybody else that's on there that's sharing their family info, so you can make connections. I found somebody had uploaded 2 pictures that I had never seen before of my great 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 uncle, Father Bernard Mackin, who built the church in Burlington, Iowa, and that was really neat to be able to see. My grandmother had a family picture with him in it, and that was about the only picture I had of Father Mackin. So to be able to see solo pictures like that was amazing. Just to let you know, he died in 1909. So these pictures would have been from well, he was ordained in 1885, 1886. So it would have been probably one of his newly ordained pictures, plus one of the pictures near the end of his life. So, but that's about it. I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. It's going to be a busy week of streaming. I'm hosting the Fans in Faith this week with the rabbi on Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning Central, because he's in Israel. Got to do it before the Sabbath hits. And that's fine. My morning mass is at 7 in the morning, so I usually have enough time to scarf down something before we do the live stream. Then we'll be doing the Friday afternoon stretch again this Friday. It's kind of like Gary's member stream without Gary, and we do that before Friday night tights kicks in. If Miss Martin is watching, I'll have to ask you about Saturday, because first Saturday we usually do a faith and fantasy chat with usually Miss Martin, Lady Gravemaster, John Trent will usually be there. Father Sinatra sometimes will come on, and if we're lucky, Odin. And if Odin is watching, you haven't joined us in a while, so we miss you. But he has a baby, so that means his schedule gets thrown out. So let's see. And then next Sunday, I'm going to try to do the Sunday night stream, the normal stream. I'm going to talk to Father Bem because I haven't streamed with him in a while. But anyway, so it is 6:20 Central Time here. It is past my dinner time. With being up at 5 in the morning every morning, I'm usually in bed about by 9. So I still got some of my prayers to get done and food to eat. So with that, I am going to wrap up. I want to thank everybody for joining me. If you have not yet already subscribed, please do hit the red button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified when new videos are uploaded or when we go live. So until then, God bless.